I have a first business. That business does very well, which is my consulting firm, and I'm basically building a spin-off SaaS product. So the first business has all the money to fund the second one, and that's how I plan to keep doing. I grew the first business to a level where um, I'm not actually doing the work. I'm just like high level, the CEO, helping me thinking and helping me with strategy. So yeah, the whole funding is going to be bootstrap.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the B2B SaaS Podcast. I'm your host, Upendra Verma, and today we have Phil Alves with us. Phil here is the CEO of a company called DevStats. Hey, Phil, welcome to the show.
Hey, great to be here.
All right, Phil. So let's try to understand what your company does and why customers pay you. And I'm talking about DevStats.
Hey, so DevStats has the goal of helping development teams get into high performing stage. So like we have all the tools that will guide you understand how your development team is doing, so you can improve things like planning accuracy, deploy frequency, code quality. So it's all about making sure your development team it's giving the best output they can, and also having data around how they're performing and be able to mentor them to get better.
Got it. And talk about your users a bit, right? So, like, who are the primary users of this product? And maybe you can just pick one developer and how they exactly use your product on a regular basis.
Yeah, so the users of our products are VP of engineers and CTOs. Those are the people that are usually going to buy our software, because those people, they have what's their job is to make their development team be better and to mentor their team. And what our software ended up being is that tool that they can use to mentor, to understand how their teams are doing, and to improve their team. They end up bringing out their development team to the software so they understand where things are. But the buyer and the person that gets the most benefit is the VP of engineering or a CTO. Sometimes in some companies, even head of product.
Got it. So let's talk about. I want to understand your customer base, right? I mean, developers, like every company on the earth, do have some sort of development teams today, right? So who are you primarily selling this to, right? As of today, what's your customer base look like?
Yeah, so our customer base are kind of like small to medium sized development teams. They're teams from 10 to 100 developers. Those are the teams that are using our product right now. So most of the times they're not using any solution to solve that kind of problem, because most of the other solutions are targeting bigger companies, and you're helping them with a tool that's a little bit simpler and that they can implement quicker. So yeah, that's our customer. It's a development team of 100 to 10 developers.
Got it. And like, how big are these deals, right? So, how do you charge on the like? Is it per seat basis, or do you have any other metric?
Yeah, it's per seat, and it's an annual base, so it's $25 per month, but end up being on an annual base, like 250 a month, 250 a year. Sorry.
Got it. So,
And then
what's your typical deal size look like? What's your average ACV? Is it around $10,000-$15,000? Is that your like average number?
I would say we are close to between $9,000 and $15,000.
Got it. So, and like, how many customers do you have on your platform as of today?
We have 50 customers right now.
50, right? So that makes a lot of sense. And like, just sort of help me understand your growth journey here, right? So, what was that number, say, 12 months ago? How many customers you
Uh,
had?
so we were in beta for a long time. So 12 months ago we had 0, and then we stopped bringing people for free to use the product. And they would like the people that kept using, we would like eventually we transfer them into paid customers. But we just got out of beta just like 3 months ago. It's where we start going back to customers and say, what do you think about the product? And would you pay for? And that's kind of like where we are. So we just left the beta. We had like many cohorts where
Mhm.
we'd bring like 10 people and 10 companies, right? Each with like 10 to 100 developers. And if people would churn, we're like, what happened? Why they're not using the software? And then we did another cohort until we figured out, okay, we have something that people are using every week. And that's when we took the product out of beta. So that was the metric. Can we build a product that people use every week?
Got it. So let me ask you a different question, right? So when did you get that first dollar of revenue as a paying? Like, when did that first dollar come in from one of your paying customers?
It was in January.
It's just been like what, 4 months now,
Yes.
and you've got 50 paying customers within just
Yes.
4 months closing deals. Like,
Mm.
all right, that's a wonderful story, right? So I just want to understand, right? So just go back 12 months before, right? So like, when did you sort of have that first version of your product ready, and just talk about that 0 to 1 journey. How did you get that first customer? I think it's
So
for you, it's beta customer and then converting them to a paying customer. Just talk about
yeah.
that, 0 to 1 journey.
So we just cold email a bunch of companies and like, hey, you're building a software. We'd love you to be part of this of building the software with us. This is the problem you're trying to solve. Come on, use it for free and give us feedback. And you're going to be part of like the founding team of customers that help us steer the software in the direction that's going to serve you. And that's how we did it. And so it was easy to get people to in for free. And then from there, we convert them into paying customers.
So like it just looks so easy, but I know it's not, right? So like what was the trick there, right? So what, like, were you focusing on any particular niche, or like what really worked for you in terms of cold emailing? Because you're saying
Yeah.
you've got 50 odd customers today, so I'm assuming your top of funnel must be like way more, right? Maybe 200, 500. I'm not sure how much that even is, right? So like
Mm.
just talk about that metrics a bit, and like what was that cold email strategy that worked for you?
Now, we just were targeting companies using Jira that had
Okay.
between 50 and 100 developers, because Jira is great to manage projects, but doesn't give you enough reports on actually how your development team is doing and how you can help them be better. And that was the first problem we were trying to solve. And our strategy was like, hey, Jira is leaving you in the dark and it's not helping you improve your team. Here's an add-on. We don't want to replace Jira, but we wanted to fill that gap
Mhm.
that they are not filling for you. So that's the
And then
strategy we
who did
used.
you mail to? Like, were these VP of engineering, or who was that profile?
Yes. Yeah, we are going off VP of engineers and CTOs.
Got it. And then you got a bunch of people expressed interest, and then you put them into what, like a beta plan or something?
Yeah, then I just we still don't have actually a way for customers to pay from the platform. We charge offline.
Yeah.
So I just have them all sign up. I gave like an invite code for each one of them and they were able to get in and start using. And then we track usage to Mixpanel.
Got it. Let's then just talk about that first. So you mentioned, right, 4 months before you sort of had that first customer paying you something, right? So how long did it actually take? Like, how long did you had to sort of put them in that beta stage, and how long did you have to nurture them before they actually you managed to convert them? Like how did that sales cycle look like for the first few
Yes.
customers at least?
So like our goal was to again get people using the software.
Mhm.
So we are changing. People are like already in the beta, but people are like dropping off. Why they're not using? Why they're not coming back? And then as we start seeing people using the software and watching the metrics, that's when we reach out to them. Hey, looks like you're getting value from our product. We appreciate you being in the beta. Would you be willing to become a paying customer? So that's kind of like how we did it. First, we make sure to get the value.
Mhm.
And for the first many months, we had a product but people were leaving. And so we kept like asking their feedback on Slack and trying to get people to stay. And that's kind of like what we did.
Got it. And when did you onboard that first beta customer? And I'm asking you specific details because I really want to understand that journey, right? Because it's really a wonderful story. Getting 50 odd customers in just 4 months is not an easy thing. I'm assuming you must have done a lot of things before that. So when did that first like when was it when you onboarded your first beta customer?
I was probably more than a year ago or
A
so.
year ago. So it took you around like 10, 12 months to sort of, to go back and forth and figure it out all, and then just sort of kind of converting it.
Yeah. And again, I was not in the rush because I have another business
Mhm.
and the business was funding. And my goal was actually also, can we deliver value for the people using the product? I
Mhm.
wasn't too worried about like I have to bring revenue. I just wanted to really deliver value to the people using the product. And that was my goal.
Got it. Like, and how many beta customers you had? Like, just talk to me about that conversion, right? So you must have a bunch of customers. Like, how many customers was that, right? So to get
It
these
was
50 paying customers.
wasn't too much, like maybe 200.
All right. So that's a pretty good conversion rate, I guess.
Yeah.
Got it. Right. So yeah. So just I want to close the story around the top of funnel for you, right? So is it just cold email? Did you do nothing else? Was it just a
Yeah.
bunch of cold emails?
It's just cold email. I love cold email because it allows us to figure out the messaging, and it's not super scalable. I don't think it's scalable, but that's how I grew my other business too. From the beginning, now I do zero cold email. My other business is out inbound, but I just like as the first channel, so you can see what people are responding to, and you can speak with
So
people
so how
directly.
how does the reply rate look like in a niche like this? If you're sending a mail to VP of engineers, right? So like, how does the reply
Uh,
rate look like?
so they hate get those emails because they get so many emails, and
Yeah.
but it's most people often developers for cheap, and they that's the emails that they get. So like when they're getting an email like, "Hey, this is a software, and I want you to be part." The reply rate's a little bit better, but it's still high, it's still pretty low.
So,
Like
like, can you just
one,
put a number
one,
there? Is it 2%, 5%, 1, 2%?
2%. Yeah, it's very low.
But that still
That's,
works, right? I mean, you've got tons of companies using Jira, so I think you've got a lot of emails as well there.
yeah, it works for a while. Like you don't want to do that forever, but it works in the beginning for sure.
Got it. And talk about the conversion, right? So, like, once somebody sort of onboards, right? So how do you convert them to a paying customer? At least, what have you been doing so far? So is it you talking to them, getting on a couple of meetings and closing deals, or do you already have people, sales folks in your team who's
Oh
doing
no,
all of that?
there's no sales force. The team is only 5 of us, and the sales out a founder led, which I'm doing all the sales.
So
But but again, it's more about making sure they're using the product. I'm looking how they're using the product. I'm making Loom videos and sending them, hey, this is how you can take advantage of report X or report Y, and it's just again making sure that they are using the product. So because once they're using and I have the metric on my hand, I can just go and ask for the money.
So what you're essentially telling me is that you've managed to close almost 50 deals single-handedly during the past 12, 15 months. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah.
That's wonderful, man. Yeah, that's
But
pretty awesome.
well, but let's be fair too. Like I did give you special pricing and special
Yeah, that
like deals for those people being early customers, and so
yeah, I think you must have tricks up your sleeves, right? But still your ACV is around $10,000-$12,000 as of today. But I'm assuming you would ideally want to sell it at, let's say, $50,000 or $100,000 deals. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, like for example, a company with like thousands of developers could still use this,
Yeah, yeah.
and so it could. But I'm just working with the smaller companies first, making sure we get the product to a good place. Because once you bring a big customer, they want to really they want a lot of stuff and you have to build this stuff for them, and also you increase your risk because now our revenue is in one huge customer. So I want to be prepared before we go that route, but it's definitely a product that can have a bigger ACV.
Got it. Like, and what's the future here, right? So what's your next step, right? So what you're gonna do? Are you gonna like?
I'm gonna keep growing slowly, to be honest. Like it's a little bit harder to get customers now that we're not getting telling people, hey, can you use the software for free.
Yeah.
It's a bootstrap company, and I'm hoping to keep bootstrap and just keep growing a pace that's sustainable, that we can keep our customers happy. So
And
it's
then
this is
at what stage are you looking to bring in external sales reps into your team? I mean, it's primarily
pro-
founder-led sales so far, right? So, but you've got to scale
yeah.
it at
I
some point.
I think after we get to a few $1 million in revenue, we might bring outside sales, or might also do a product led play. Once we have enough revenue and we understand where the value is, we can just do a product led and let people self on board. Uh, in the beginning, I don't like to go product led because we don't know kind of like what's gonna make people want to use the product.
Mhm.
But once we figure that out and we can work on a journey, and
So,
go
so
inbound and product
Phil,
led.
so are you a first-time SaaS founder? Are you not?
Am I what? Sorry.
So, are you a first-time SaaS founder? Are you building a SaaS product for the first time?
Oh, kind of. I
Because
have good.
you looks like you've got it all figured out and it's been working wonderfully for you. I mean, you've got all of these
Uh,
plans. I mean, and you have a very clear vision
so
of when that's gonna work and when it's not. Like, where do you
i-
have all of, like, where did you gain all of this knowledge from? Just talk
so
about your experience and background.
years and years ago, I built a small SaaS product and I sold that product. From there, I used the money to move to the United States. I'm from Brazil. I started a consulting firm. The consulting firm was helping other people building SaaS products, which I built hundreds of SaaS products for other people. Grew the consulting firm for over 100 employees, and like really saw how our customers were doing. And that's kind of like where my experience comes from. I have built a lot of SaaS products, one for myself, but a lot for other people. So it's definitely not my first time, and I don't think it should be anyone's first business, a SaaS, to be honest. It's kind of complex business.
Yeah, I know. I could get that sense, right? Just talking to you, right? I mean, you've got it all figured out. I mean, you've got plans. You're executing it them wonderfully well. That makes a lot. So let's talk about this consulting business as well, right? So you mentioned you've helped a bunch of SaaS companies grow, scale, and I guess even acquire. Right? So, like, how do you help them on a regular basis? And do you do it even today with your SaaS product?
Yes, for sure. I actually that's still where my money is coming from. The SaaS is not profitable yet. So, and the consulting firm is pretty big. But basically, I work with industry experts. Let's say you were an expert in driving schools, or you were a CPA that knows everything about CPAs, and you want to build a software for CPAs. So you hire us, and we help you take the product to market. but because you are the industry expert, you know how to sell, you know the features that we need to do. And those are the people that we work with in the consulting firm. And that's kind of like the strategy that I copy here, because I'm an expert in running development teams. And so I'm building a product to help people better run development teams, because basically I'm running 20 plus development teams for other people. And I have to make sure they're doing good work and delivering a lot of value.
Got it, right? So I know I would want to ask a lot of questions here, right? But in the light of time, I'll just ask you one question, right? So I know you've got a lot of experience working with hundreds of SaaS companies out there, and you go back and build a company of yours, right? So why this product in particular? Like, why this space that you've just chosen, right? So what's so special about it? Like, you must have some framework and something must have, this product must have ticked those. Can you just talk about those things, right? So that really
I think that product will allow me to do what I have been doing, but in a bigger scale, because my hope is to help people have development teams that are performing, that deliver a lot of value. And the one way that I do that is to my service offer, where there's like a done for you. Hey, here's a team that can do a job very well. My software solve the same problem, but it is a tool. Here's a guide. Use this guide to help your team deliver a lot of value for yourself. So it's kind of like solving the same problem that I have been solving for the last 10 years of my career. Uh, it's just solving in a bigger scale. That's what I
right.
hope to
So
do
with your
with the
consulting firm,
SaaS.
you focus primarily on the development or the product aspect, not really the marketing and GTM aspect. Is that it?
Yes, for sure. We just develop the product, and that's what we do.
Got it. So essentially,
Eh,
you've just converted your whole consulting business to a SaaS product and then you're selling it out, right?
Kind of, yeah. The consulting business is still there, and the consulting business also has a product part where we help
Yeah.
people plan their product. The SaaS is just about making sure developers are doing an amazing job and they are progressing and getting better at what they do.
Right. So are you able to use some of your credibility that you've built with your consulting experience, and are you able to use that to grow your SaaS? If yes, how are you doing that?
I haven't done that yet, but like in the consulting firm, I have some very big Fortune 500 companies as a customers,
Mhm.
and I think once the product gets more mature, I can go and I can sell my own product for them. So there's definitely a synergy, and there's a few of our customers using our product right now. They were customers of the consulting firm, so there's definitely a
But
synergy
it's
there.
just cold emails for now. You're waiting for it to get matured before you could use
Yeah,
that synergy. Yeah, that makes a lot
yeah,
of sense. And talk about
yeah.
the funding, right? So I mean, you mentioned that it's bootstrapped, the SaaS product, right? So
Mhm.
look, talk about the process. Like, what's like, are you planning to raise any external funding? If yes, why? If not, why not? Just
No, I'm not. Like the whole strategy, and I saw a lot of my customers doing that very successfully. It's because I have a first business. That business does very well, which is my consulting firm, and basically building a spin-off SaaS product. So the first business has all the money to fund the second one, and that's how I plan to keep doing. I grew the first business to a level where um, I'm not actually doing the work. I'm just like high level, the CEO helping me thinking and helping with strategy. So yeah, the whole funding is gonna be bootstrap. I like that way. I can control the growth rate. Like I told you, right now we're not focusing on growth. We're focusing on keeping our customers happy and improving our product. And it's less stressful.
yeah.
And and I had some friends that had big exits on VC firms or even some of our customers. But at the end of the day, you end up with like 10% of the company. So you sell for 300 million and you got 30 million.
Yeah.
Or you can have 100% of a smaller company and sell for the same 30 million and never have to deal with investors. And I prefer the option B. you know.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm totally on board with this, right? So a follow up question. So is the plan to maybe just grow it to maybe 10 or $20 million and then just exit? Is that the plan in the next few 5-7 years?
Yeah, I think you always exit your business one way and another, right? You might sell, the business got a business, you might die. So I know I'm gonna exit some point, but I'm not like just planning, oh, I have to exit this business.
Yeah.
The plan is to build a sustainable business that I could keep for as long
Got it.
as it
And
makes
and
sense.
just talk about the team, right? Is it just 5 members as you mentioned?
Yes, it's just me and 4 developers.
Got it. And yeah, I
I
think
I play the product role, like the product vision, and then there's like the tech lead and the other developers.
and just one question here. So the consulting firm that you have, like how big is it? So you talked about 100 employees in there, but in terms of revenue, like where is it? Is it in tens of millions of revenue dollars?
Yes, it's a figures firm.
Okay. So yeah, so one last question, right? So why a SaaS product when you've got such a brilliant, consulting firm already, which is bringing you like a lot of
Uh,
revenue?
so what I'm loving about building this SaaS product is I'm back into like more of the doing, and that being R&D for my consulting firm, because the things that doing here when I'm planning about the strategy and how we deliver work for a consulting firm, it all comes together. But basically, as the company start growing, you get further and further from the actually doing, and it doesn't make sense for me as the CEO of the company to go there and do the work for the customers, but I get to do for myself, and that gets to be a benefit for my customers and for my team, and I'm training them. Hey, this is how I have to think about it. It comes from experience, so it's not just like, hey, we build SaaS for the product, we build SaaS for ourselves too, and we understand what building SaaS is. So that's part of like the appeal to create my own product.
All right, Phil, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Hope you scale DevStats to much, much greater heights.
Okay, no problem. It was great to have you here to talk to you.
Thanks for watching the B2B SaaS Podcast channel. I believe that the best way of building SaaS companies is by regularly talking to real founders who are out there building their companies. These founders have gained tons of insights during their journey, and I'm here to bring those to you. So if you want more such stuff, please make sure to subscribe to the channel here.